Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a great day. As always, a free way to support the channel is by leaving a like, by leaving a comment, or by subscribing if you have not already done so. It does indeed help with the algorithm. I have seen a major difference and it's all because of you. Thank you very much. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. At the memento, it says over $200 million worth of futures positions were crushed as Bitcoin's price dropped by several percent this morning. Bitcoin fell by nearly $2,000, liquidating $200 million worth of future positions in the last 12 hours and bringing down much of the cryptocurrency market alongside it. Now, I'm going to show you a couple of things just to kind of not justify what's going on, but once again, we have been here before. Much of the other cryptocurrency price news resolved around other altcoins dropping. They had many different articles talking about this coin dropped, that coin dropped, and they were referring to bears as the reason to why the prices actually fell down. No, it's not bears, it's institutions, it's very rich people who are trying to bring the prices of the cryptocurrency market down to be able to buy up more. The really interesting part is that the actual really interesting part, almost in a really weird tug of war with the negative price news, is a lot of news like this. On-chain analyst expects Bitcoin's price to explode due to impending supply shock. This one says, I stand by my $100,000 Bitcoin price target. This was by Anthony Scaramucci. I think his prediction for this year, I think, is 130 or 140, and everyone else is saying like 180 to 288, depending on yada, 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 yada. So the reason, I think, I don't know, for the drop is probably somewhere around here. Now, this is not tinfoil hat, it's just money hat, just to be completely logical. We know that all banks and all institutions and all major hedge funds are in the cryptocurrency space. Typically, we've seen, especially this year, anytime that we get news that Bitcoin's price is going to fall, Bitcoin's price has to fall, Bitcoin's price looks like it's going to fall. Remember about 2 or 3 months ago where Bitcoin was like doing, really, really well? And then I brought you the news that day, and at the very beginning of the video when I normally bring you the price news, it was Bitcoin's not looking too hot, Bitcoin looks like it's going to fall, Bitcoin's looking kind of shaky, and I was like, no, it doesn't. There were tons of people in the market. There were tons of people who were still buying. And lo and behold, over the course of the next week and a half, we began to tumble in price. And as we got to the end of the tumble in price, remember the news that we got the very next day? This institution bought, this billion-dollar hedge fund bought during the dip, this politician also, like, it's this constant thing of Bitcoin looks like it's doing okay, or looks like it could be continuing to go up and or go up, but Bitcoin's not looking too hot. Something's wrong with Bitcoin. Bitcoin has to fall a bit more. This article is actually from a couple of weeks ago. The point to be made is, this is from JP Morgan, and there were many other banks, about 2 or 3 other ones, many in that sense. They're large entities, announced that they specifically think that Bitcoin won't move back up to its previous all-time high until we fall back down to around $25,000 to $30,000. For those of you not looking at the screen, it says Bitcoin may have to tumble below $30,000 before major buyers are lured back in. This, to me, myself, spells it's just manipulation in some sort of way. You get the narrative out there. You say, oh no, it has to do this before something is going to happen. Remember before when we always had news years ago that we needed a Bitcoin ETF in order for Bitcoin's price to actually rise, and then we still rose without it? Do you really logically think that institutions, that there's any difference between 30,000 and 29,999? No, they're trying to push the prices down as low as possible. A dip below 30,000 says to the brand new investors who are in the space, be scared, sell, you have no idea what's going on. We broke a point of resistance and yada, 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 yada. They sell all their coins and then we get the same exact thing that we had this a couple weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago. Remember when Bitcoin's price fell down to 29,000 and then we jumped right back up immediately to $36,000 once again? Anyway, so that's a lot of the price news. On top of that as well, not to dig too deep into it, a lot of the banks are now doing that I'm siding with Ethereum thing. I think Ethereum's going to outperform Bitcoin. Ethereum's going to flip Bitcoin kind of narrative that we saw also as well from JP Morgan Chase just a couple of days ago. For those of you who missed it, JP Morgan Chase announced that they believe that the staking economy from Ethereum is going to launch a multi-billion-dollar passive income kind of world where basically people are collecting cryptocurrencies as opposed to stocks or other assets to make a passive income, and therefore yada, yada, yada. This one says, Goldman Sachs said Ethereum's popularity could see ETH become a dominant store of value. So that's basically all the price news. We've gone down a bit. I understand, once again, if there is fear in your heart or in your soul, I think it's completely normal. I've been here so long, like these movements don't even phase me really much anymore. I have a lot of friends who are, and I mean really into the cryptocurrency space. Like, they're not dabbling. They've been here for about 3 or 4 years, since 2017, maybe even a smidge before. If Bitcoin falls to 25,000 to 20,000 to 15,000, they are going to be buying. Like, there's no real, I believe myself that a lot of the mega fear in the market comes from the brand new people who don't understand that these fluctuations are there. But if you are relatively new, you know now. Anyway, that's all the price news. And without further ado, let's move on. Next up, in super popular news, and rather it's like infamous news, doesn't make any sense, but you understand what I'm saying. A new proposed law in New York, if approved, would require public officials in the state to disclose crypto holdings above $1,000 on an annual basis. Let's be completely honest, who only has $1,000 worth of crypto? And I mean, even more so, put into this context, we know that many people in members of parliament or the Congress or whatever, doesn't matter where you are in the world, if they're into some type of an investment, they don't only hold $1,000. Oh yeah, I bought a stock yesterday. Wow, Jimmy, that's great. Yeah, you know, I hope I can retire one day. No, you dump tons of money into these things. According to public records, the bill, submitted on the 2nd of July, sponsored by State Senator Rachel May, would require public officials in the state to disclose their crypto holdings above $1,000 on an annual basis, so everyone. The proposed law aims to close the loophole on cryptocurrency assets like Bitcoin on the state's financial disclosure statement and add transparency regarding individual interest in type of digital financial property. So I just simply assume that I don't know New York law like that. So I just assume that it has to be a mimic of some other law where basically public officials are required to say, hey, I have a $38 million stake in said company. So people can be like, if they make any type of law, you can go, well, this was clearly made to benefit you. So transparency in the things that government officials do, cool. I don't mind that because, you know, sometimes public officials can, you know. But the other part about disclosing, sure, whatever, you know, this is very popular news right now. It also kind of mimics another thing that we're also going to be going over. Here's the actual Senate bill for it. I assume this is going to get passed through. I assume there will only be like 14 nays, if you will. Anyway, that's that news. Let's move on. Next up. There's a really weird tug of war happening right now in our space, and it's a little awkward to say the least. Cardano has overtaken Bitcoin as the most held cryptocurrency on eToro during the second quarter of the year after seeing a 51% rise compared to the previous quarter. Bitcoin, meanwhile, saw demand for it move up 42% during the same period, according to City AM. Simon Peters, a crypto market analyst at eToro, reportedly said the growth in use case potential for Cardano's native ADA token attracted investors. Cardano added the ability for developers to launch native tokens on its blockchain earlier this year, after the launch of the much-anticipated Mary hard fork, and is set to allow developers to build and deploy smart contracts on this network through a major upgrade called Alonzo, which will allow decentralized financial applications to be deployed on the network. This is, of course, very popular. The Cardano community is quite large. They are quite massive. Usually now, the most popular coins that we see getting mentioned anywhere, it's always Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Cardano. You may have like some other coins sprinkled around there, but Cardano is usually thrown into the mix a lot. It says Cardano, Dogecoin overtakes Bitcoin as the most popular cryptocurrencies for eToro users. Cardano topples Bitcoin to become the most held crypto on eToro. Now, here's where it's getting, I don't want to use the word awkward, it's getting a little weird. a lot of people, and have been doing this for years, like this isn't brand new, but people are fighting a lot on Twitter right now. We usually see a lot of internal crypto community fighting when prices are dropping. I think it's just like the annoyance. It's the friction of everything going on, and everyone is kind of like screaming at each other back and forth. However, Mr. Hoskinson has been in the news quite a lot recently, basically talking either down about other projects. He recently spoke down about Bitcoin, saying Bitcoin was too slow and Cardano was going to take over, pass it by. Ethereum was this and Cardano was going to do this. I think he mentioned how much he hated Dogecoin, and Dogecoin was a meme coin and nothing more. I think he maybe said something negative about XRP. So when you start throwing all these stones, eventually people start throwing them back. And people have been looking back at his Twitter, basically every single time that he announced before that something was going to happen to the network, or something was going to happen to the platform, or something was going to happen to the blockchain. And a lot of these things either happened like a year and a half late, didn't happen at all. So for those of you not looking at the screen, it says Charles Hoskinson faces Twitter backlash as his Cardano predictions fall short of reality. I mean, I really don't know what to say. This was also incredibly popular news. There's a lot of fighting in general. Something happened with that other guy who said he was Satoshi a couple days ago. I think a lot of people, I think if everyone just sat in their own corner and just actively just made sure that they developed on their blockchain instead of talking about other people, we'd be so much further as a crypto community. But alas, I think egos do get in the way sometimes, and, you know, it kind of is what it is. So, yeah, this was also very popular news. A lot of times I try my darndest to stay away from negative news, but the moment I don't mention something like this happening, the comment section is ablaze with people being like, why didn't you mention the Twitter thing, bruh? Like, TMI's totally lacking, man. And I'm like, no, I just try to just give you the news. Like, it doesn't have to be like the petty things happening on the side. But this one's actually quite major because everyone's kind of throwing pebbles at each other at the moment. Anyway, that's the Cardano news. Cardano will continue to remain popular regardless of if upgrades take long or not. To be fair, Cardano is not the only blockchain that's taken a long time. Bitcoin upgrades take 3 to 4 years. XRP still doesn't have the NFTs or the smart contract platforms or the people building other coins on top of it that they were talking about before. Litecoin still doesn't have Mimblewimble. We were supposed to have gotten that at the beginning of this year. EOS, hello. Every single coin is exactly the same. They're all taking a very long time. Ethereum 2.0 should have been launched in 2017. Anyway, everybody be nice to each other. Stop all the nonsense. We already have enough from the banks and the whales trying to drop our prices to kick us out of the market. We don't need to be internally fighting. Anyway, that's that news. Let's move on. Also in news that was very popular news, a U.S. congressman, his name is Barry Moore, has declared his recent cryptocurrency purchases. And he bought Dogecoin, Cardano, and Ether. Wow! U.S. Representative Barry Moore from Alabama filed a periodic transaction report, or PTR, last week, declaring his recent cryptocurrency purchases. Here it is right here. Here's it is. According to the filing, the congressman bought cryptocurrencies, Cardano, Dogecoin, and Ether during May and June. Each purchase was between $1,000 and $15,000 US dollars. We can safely assume he probably bought closer to 15 and not the initial 1,000. And then it goes into more detail, yada, yada, yada. I thought it was a bit weird. It seems very invasive, but alas, here we are. A lot of the news was that someone else in Congress has purchased cryptocurrencies. I'm pretty sure the majority, if not over, I'm going to give it a good 55-60%. I know that some people in the crypto in Congress and Senate and stuff like that are a bit aged, so I'm not assuming that they're running towards the market, but I think anyone below the age of 55, 50 in that space definitely has an investment portfolio or a manager who's like, hey, we need to throw a couple $1,000s into this. So cool. We found out someone else is a supporter or an investor in the space. Anybody surprised? No, because I'm pretty sure this man is not the only one. I legitimately can probably tell you there are at least 300 people in that building, not the actual people in Congress, but people around them who are in the market. Anyway, cool. Yeah, right. See, that was awesome news. Let's move on. Next up, Instagram appears to be working on implementing NFT features on its app, according to mobile developer and leaker Alessandro Paluzzi. Wow, fancy name. According to the leaker and mobile developer Alessandro Paluzzi, Instagram, one of the most popular photo and video sharing applications on the planet, is planning to adapt its version of non-fungible tokens soon. The mobile developer has a knack for finding mobile updates ahead of time. According to Paluzzi, both Instagram and Twitter are planning. I can definitely see. No, yeah, both of them. Yeah. I don't think this is even whatever. Both Instagram and Twitter are planning major changes to their current offerings, with Twitter considering 2 new services via Chipper Cash and Wealth Simple. Instagram is still working on collectibles, according to the mobile developer. He said, "Here's the onboarding screen. According to Paluzzi's research, Instagram posts offering NFTs will be labeled as collectible. This will alert users that the post contains a purchasable NFT." Now, for those of you who haven't been here for the last 3 years, we've been on a very good streak. And I mean a very good streak in that every single time we have gotten some type of a leak, someone says something, they have information beforehand, it's usually always true, especially when it comes to things like this. When I was going to say earlier, when it came to the Instagram and Twitter, I was like, I can definitely see Twitter doing it. And I was like, wait, of course Instagram and Twitter are going to have some type of an NFT platform. Instagram is also owned by Bookface, and Bookface was supposed to have had their cryptocurrency out at this point as well. So of course, all the crypto offerings are going to be happening. Everyone's trying to integrate everything or do everything that everybody else is doing. And, you know, it kind of is what it is. Also, side note, thank you to everyone who has been supporting my art. I do very much appreciate you. So here's the actual tweets for it right here. It says Instagram is working on collectibles, and you can buy a cat. And then it says you won. You now own Zuckerberg's Colorful 2. Share this collectible, then Mark Zuckerberg will be notified and can reshare your story. Fantastic. No real surprise here. I am actually shocked that Instagram doesn't already have an NFT platform. But, yeah. So that's the, of course, news. And let's move on. Next up in, of course, news. So much like obvious news this week, it's kind of ridiculous. According to local news reports, the delayed rollout of the Jamaican digital currency, which should have started in May, will commence with a national commercial bank pilot in which customers will be introduced to the national digital currency. Bank of Jamaica Governor, wow, I had a brain fart there. Bank of Jamaica Governor Richard Biles said that they are looking at technical sides of the system and have a sandbox in the bank that holds the whole infrastructure. That was a weird sentence. The governor further added, as we work through the technical minting, redeeming of the cryptocurrency, we have to test it rigorously as a pilot, and that will do through August. I don't have to read anymore. The point is, here's the actual news for it right here. There's people shaking hands. He's holding a piece of paper to her. It says BOJ to pilot digital currency rollout in August. Fantastic. I'm pretty sure that's every single bank who has done it at this point, or announced that they're going to be doing it. I assume they're trying to coordinate a massive one-time launch at the exact same time, or like a week after week thing. Expect a mountainous level of, hate the word, but it's so useful, the word FUD, as these things are rolling out, because we've seen before from other country on the other side of the world, with the large population, that one, who has made it their goal to make sure to deter people, everyone in their country, from getting into Bitcoin, because they're also launching their own central bank digital currency, have launched it, soft launching, doing the whole lottery thing. So wonderful. I can't wait to not use it. It's still going to be inflationary, the same as every other fiat currency. And yeah, fantastic. Let's move on. And to finish things off, a member of the lower house of the Argentinian National Congress has introduced legislation that would allow certain workers in the country to receive some or all of their salary in crypto. In a tweet on Tuesday, Argentine Chamber of Deputies member Jose Luis Ramon said his proposed crypto bill would apply to anyone working as an exporter of services. What? And those who depend on an employee for income. So everybody, except for freelancers, people working. Should the legislation pass, it would allow such workers the choice of receiving a full or partial salary in crypto or Argentinian pesos. Are you joking? If this passes, stop it. Imagine, I don't care where you're living right now. Imagine a law passes in your country that would allow you to legally go to your employer and say, hey, bud, saw that passed about a week ago. I'm tired of receiving this paper money. Let me get some Bitcoin. I'm pretty sure like at least a good 15 to 20% of the population immediately would at least ask for a quarter, if not half of their salary directly into crypto. Is this a joke? If this passes, this is going to be crazy. He said the idea is that workers can strengthen their autonomy and retain the purchasing power of their remuneration. This initiative stems from the need to promote greater autonomy and governance of wages without this implying a loss of rights or exposure to situations of abuse within the framework of the employment relationship. All right, so here's the actual tweet for it right here. See if this ends up happening. Very popular news, as one would assume that this would be. Not really much more to say on that. We are seeing can you even call it the advent? I'll still call it the advent of countries and sports teams and workers being allowed to be paid in crypto. I still think the first one was in 2014 or 2015. I'm pretty sure it was France, or rather someone in France was trying to bring this initiative forward. And there were some companies who were paying their employees in Bitcoin, and I'm sure they got a lot of Bitcoin. So let's hope this works out. If it does work out, we will most certainly be hearing about it. This will not make cryptocurrency news. And I'll be interested to see by the end of this year, if this passes, how many workers in Argentina, like the percentage of people who are actually receiving their money in cryptocurrencies, because, it's probably the future. As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters, Professor Wally from Gunbot University, Fud Wiser, Mortified, Roman Gaba, Bitcoin Ben Arachno Dave, Tony Ambroski, The Dealer Den, Red Plump Tomato, Umnu, Wish Nikki, The Letter M, Stephen Dirks, Not Brain, Captain Something in the Z-Waylay, Crypto Black Sheep, AJ Cut 5, and Carlos was like, Speedy655, Mobarazi, Jojo Shaw Show, VB Nerd 21, Miguel Grolet, Lauren De Silva, Quoted Biddy, Bare Bones Mining, Troy Allgood, Space Case, Need a Miracle, Paternoster, wow. Canyon, Conan, Don't Skip Leg Day, Snacky Chan, Tolik Banana, Suspicious Agile and Blockchain, Navarro Williams, David James, Attila the Han, Yasha Harari, Utopia 569, Moonman High, Zerp, Martin Steuer, Nostromo, John Sarson, The Animal Reader, Ibibliophobia, Todd, Mullis, Adam, Graysick, Mohar Maroni, Master Ventures in Thailand, Jared Schneider, Wise Night Owl, 242 to the world, Bankroll Network, Crypto Artist, Cole D, 3D, Damien Setsuna, Richie Rich, I, Vlad the Impaler, Paxis, Nick Mangialavori, Jim Gardner, Jeremy Fox, Minting Coins, Miller Hitch Test Every Day, and Kyle Skips Leg Day. Yes to Crypto, Bodie McBoatface, Anytime Fitness, Monk's Corner Staff, Bake Me a Cake, Tigger Macho Nisa, On Crypto with Lionel, Crayola Michelle, URL, and Bolero Bastos. Thank you all very, very much for your support. Thank you to everyone who is a member of the channel. Thank you to everyone who left a like, who left a comment, who left a subscribe. I know it's not leaving a subscribe, but I still like saying it. It sounds fancy. Thank you to everyone who is a supporter of my art. I do thank thee at the... Oh, and also thank you to all the people who've been gifting me NFTs. Like, some of the stuff is really freaking cool. Like, I thank you very, very much for that as well. I'm actually quite shocked. I keep getting more. Thank you. At the moment, Bitcoin is currently at 32,563. It is down by 6%. Most of the market is also down. I don't have to say the numbers, but they're all following the exact same trend line. So, as the day goes on, should there be a reversal, don't be surprised. Should there be a drop below 30,000, try not to be scared. It's more of we understand explicitly at this point. The market is being moved by larger entities who have very big wants of gathering as much cryptocurrency as they possibly can. Once again, just to put it into perspective a little bit, Bitcoin looks like it could replace the world reserve currency, and everyone is trying to do what they can to acquire as much of this thing that could possibly take over the US dollar. So just always keep that in mind. I know sometimes the daily movements can be a bit much, but once again, also realize, toppling of the US dollar, cryptocurrencies becoming the dominant currencies. You've heard it all before, but there's going to be a struggle before we actually get there. I do hope that you all enjoyed. I do hope that you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be on this wacky planet. I do hope that it is absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching and or listening and or supporting, and I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See